Wayne Hills and Roxbury were knotted at 14 at halftime, and it looked like it could be anyone's game. However, at the half, Patriots head coach Wayne Demikoff challenged his team to step up, and they did exactly just that. Sometimes in a championship game situation, the biggest play can come from an unlikely source. That was the case for DePaul in their championship victory, as their sophomore Sean Kelly came up with a huge fumble recovery that proved to be the turning point of the game. I spoke before the game to associate head coach Deion Dotson just about that. She told me, look, we just came off of a pretty tough road trip in Pennsylvania. We played some of the top teams in the conference already. And she told me she feels the team is very confident now that they're back here home. For the majority of this contest, this was a game to forget for Lakers junior quarterback Jack Baker. He had thrown 2 interceptions, however, in the final minutes of regulation, and in overtime, he made it a game to remember. For Dinwiddie, success is more than just his play on the court. He has embraced living in New York City and has become sort of a folk hero for Nets fans this season. He has grown off the court as well, too. And one thing that is important to the Nets point guard is being able to give back to the community. So the Terriers got a really balanced scoring effort, and they've done it on the defensive end, forcing Wagner into a ton of turnovers. Defense, they said, will get him back in the game, and that's exactly what happened. Now it's all about closing it out. This game was more than just a championship victory for the DePaul Spartans. It marked the first time in 44 years that they defeated St. Joe's. Well, the rally is finished here at the corner of 51st and Park, but there's still tons of people around here talking, sharing ideas, talking about the rally and how they can support the movement for Colin Kaepernick going forward. Many of the people I spoke to still have hope as the NFL season is about to begin. Tale of 2 quarters for the Terriers in the first half. First quarter shot 14%. Second quarter they shot 57%. I spoke with the coaching staff just a couple minutes ago, and they told me that, hey, in the second quarter, we made layups. We had the same quality shots in the first quarter. We just didn't make those shots. Howell bounced back from a loss last week at Manalapan, and now their record stands at 6-1. Maybe lost in the story of their great offensive play tonight was the play of their defense, who only allowed 1 touchdown in the contest. The team tells me that they have to play well on both sides of the ball if they are to be successful in the upcoming playoffs. Reporting from Farmingdale, Dexter Henry, Friday Night Football. Sometimes in a championship game situation, the biggest play can come from an unlikely source. That was the case for DePaul in their championship victory, as their sophomore Sean Kelly came up with a huge fumble recovery that proved to be the turning point of the game.
I love Sean, in the weight room, always pushing him, and I know he could be great, so he's a young sophomore playing right now. He's making big plays.
It was tight the entire game, and if they scored there, we didn't need to rely on our offense to score. It would have put us in a bad position, and with the fumble recovery, it just made it easier for us to win.
This game was more than just a championship victory for the DePaul Spartans. It marked the first time in 44 years that they defeated St. Joe's. I spoke with quarterback Taquan Roberson after the game. He told me this was huge and something that they wanted. He said, anytime you can beat our rival St. Joe's, it's great. And when you win a championship, it's even sweeter. And it was a sweet one for the Spartans. At Keene University, Dexter Henry, Friday Night Football.
Let's give a big NBA welcome to Brooklyn Nets starting point guard Spencer Dinwiddie.
Throughout the 2017-2018 season, Brooklyn Nets point guard Spencer Dinwiddie has hit some clutch shots.
Dinwiddie on a switch. He's got Gibson. Dinwiddie makes his move. Dinwiddie fades. Oh, Spencer Dinwiddie! Splash! Clear it for Dinwiddie. 5 on the timer. Dinwiddie lines it up. Yes!
But arguably none bigger than his game winner in Motown.
Harris gets it to Dinwiddie. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, steps, fires. Oh, it's good! Spencer Dinwiddie buries it with .9 on the clock. Spencer Dinwiddie, that's a game winner.
Dinwiddie's shot lifted the Nets to a January road win over the Detroit Pistons, the team that drafted the former University of Colorado star, and then cut him.
It was definitely sweet. A lot was made about it. I kind of downplayed it until pretty much right at the last interview that I had that night, and just kind of said, how would you feel? It was sweet, man.
Dinwiddie was also cut by his next team, the Chicago Bulls, and currently plays for the Nets on a non-guaranteed contract. His hunger and focus was apparent before this season even started.
How could I relax? How could I not have that hunger? You know what I'm saying? The moment I go into the gym and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll let Jalen beat me today, right? That could be my last day.
Playing like it's his last day has bode well for the fourth-year guard. He's averaging career highs in points, rebounds, and assists. and was in consideration by some for a spot on the Eastern Conference All-Star roster.
What has this year been like for you so far?
It's been special, man. You know, seeing kind of a culmination of all the hard work and being able to actually put it on the floor. We actually spoke before the season, and we weren't sure what my role would be, and so to be able to play in this fashion has been special.
Special is just one of the words some may use to describe Dinwiddie's play this season. Sports journalist Brian Fonseca, who covers the Brooklyn Nets for NetsDaily.com, says Dinwiddie's rise has been unexpected.
Jeremy Lin goes down, D'Angelo Russell goes down, Spencer Dinwiddie steps up, and he stepped up even more than I thought he would this season. But that's not to say I didn't think he was capable of that. It was just, you know, it was impossible to foresee him just shooting out and becoming one of the NBA's most improved players this season.
For Dinwiddie, success is more than just his play on the court. He has embraced living in New York City and has become sort of a folk hero for Nets fans this season. He has grown off the court as well, too. And one thing that is important to the Nets point guard is being able to give back to the community.
The Nets guard teamed up with the National Basketball Players Association to host a youth basketball clinic in New York City. 50 children in attendance developed their skills with the Nets star engaging in station drills and half-court games.
Well, I mean, I remember being these kids, you know, and going to various camps when I was younger. Obviously never a Players Association camp, but similar camps, and if I had a chance to meet NBA players, it would have been a huge deal for me. So just coming here and being able to do some of that and hopefully putting a smile on some of these kids' faces is everything.
While kids at the clinic dream of one day playing on the NBA hardwood like Dinwiddie, his story of being a second-round pick cut by 2 NBA teams and playing in the G League before landing an opportunity in Brooklyn isn't common. However, it's a story he hopes can help to inspire.
You know, I wasn't a number 1 pick. I didn't have, you know, the golden road from jump. Had to have perseverance, a work ethic to get to this point and to continue to be able to climb, and hopefully I'm still on the climb. And just so for every kid that's in this situation or has been in a situation or will go through this situation, I hope I can be a little bit of inspiration.
Despite his recent success, the hunger for greatness still grows for Dinwiddie.
It's not like I was an all-star, like you know what I'm saying, we're not the number 1 seed in the East, haven't won an MVP, haven't won a championship, all these things. So, I mean, you know, there's still such a road to go that, I mean, for me to get complacent now, it'd be short-sighted.
I don't know what his future is. Ideally, I mean, you know, he's risen to prominence, so to speak, in Brooklyn. So you would like to see that play out because it's just a great story. He found himself here, so to speak, and to see that continue, it will be great. Now it's just a matter of whether or not it'll happen. But one thing's for sure, he should get paid a lot by somebody in 2019.
What do you want the legacy of Spencer Dinwiddie to be as an NBA player as you move forward?
Somebody that never stopped, somebody that, you know, took everything that he had and was able to display it and was able to make the most out of every situation that he was presented with. And like I said, I don't want to stop. I want to push things as far as it can go.